We're standing in front of the Pennsylvania Lumber Museum Brookville building, which includes an exhibit about tanneries in Pennsylvania. It also includes this Brookville locomotive that was used at a tannery in Elk County to transfer carloads of hides and bark and finished leather products back from the 1940s to the 1960s. A lot of people don't realize how important leather is to the Pennsylvania lumber industry. While PA made more lumber than any other state in the United States by about 1870, this north central part of Pennsylvania made more leather than anywhere else in the world from about the 1890s to the early 1900s. And we're very grateful for volunteers like Dan Rhodes, who come to the museum during special events and show people the process of making leather. You start with animal hides. In Pennsylvania, we used our hemlock bark, which was very high in tannic acid. The acids in the bark go into solution, the hides get soaked, and there's a chemical reaction that takes place, and stabilizing the hide, turning it into leather, preventing rot and decay. And leather that's taken care of well can last for years and years and years. And it was a very important part of our lumber industry, but has since moved on to other parts of the world. So we're very fortunate that we have Dan to be able to show us what it was like during that part of Pennsylvania's history.
Hello there, I'm Dan Rhodes, Education Coordinator from the Bradford County Conservation District, right behind me. Basically, the Conservation District is about helping people to use their natural resources wisely. That's what conservation really is. Just about learning how to use things that we all need to live so that they'll be there in the future when we need them again. My job at the district is education coordinator, so I work with people of all different ages and all different topics. And this particular topic, turning animal skins into leather, it's one of my favorites because it really connects people to a resource, connects people to history in Bradford County, because leather making, it used to be a huge part of Pennsylvania's past industry. It was one of the most important industries in the state and in the nation. We used to produce tons and tons of high quality leather. Fat that's in those egg yolks into the skin to make it soft, you have to kind of wring it out, more or less. There's a lot of pressure on it. So what I do here, and the cool thing is it's the same process with any size hide. So it doesn't matter if you have a big deer hide, an elk hide, whatever. You got to do it the same way. So you basically drape the hide over a cross beam like this, and it's got to be nice and smooth because there's going to be a lot of tension on this, and you could break it if it's got a sharp edge. Okay, so now these hides have been wrung out through the egg solution, and they have the natural oil that's found in those egg yolks is now inside there. So in order to keep these nice and soft, I have to stretch these as they dry like this. So you know, these are going to keep turning white. You can see this one's already getting pretty white in the middle here. As they get stretched and as they dry, they'll become more and more white. And at the very end here, they'll be as white as snow. Just as white and soft as like a Kleenex tissue, really. And then the last step to make sure they stay soft and they stay preserved is to smoke them over a fire. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So as you can see, we've been stretching a little bit here, and the goal is to keep stretching this now that we've wrung it through the egg solution. Keep stretching it until it's dry, and you got to do that to keep it soft. Otherwise, if you stop before it's totally dry, it'll stiffen up just like rawhide. Okay. Actually, believe it or not, this would look very similar, if not be the same, as a rawhide dog toy. A lot of people have no clue, like when I'm showing them how this process works, they're like, I'll never do that, that's so gross. But I bet you've handled rawhide quite a bit in your life. Those white dog toys with the knots on the ends. And when the dog chews on it for a while, it gets mushy. The reason for that is it's actually skin. It's not bone. People have no clue. They think it's a bone when it's actually just a piece of cow skin, more than likely tied up in a knot. So we want to avoid that dog bone kind of hardness for this if we're making leather. So you got to keep softening this until it's totally dry to keep the glue. There's actually a natural glue inside every animal hide. So to prevent the glue from stiffening up all these fibers inside, you gotta keep stretching it until it's totally dry. The last step to keep all those fibers in line where you put them to keep it soft forever is to smoke it. So we've got a fire going over here. We're gonna wait till it burns down to embers. Then we can shovel those embers into a steel bucket and throw some semi-rotten wood on it that will give off a bunch of smoke. That smoke will turn these from the white color that we're getting here to a nice brown finished color that will keep them preserved forever. See the color difference? We'll turn it inside out here and then you'll really see it. If it's changed colors pretty significantly from what it was, it's smoked enough. You don't have to necessarily smoke it to where it's really dark. You could keep it so it's barely smoked and it's just like a creamy color. As long as you have a color change, you've achieved what you need to achieve. But since the smoking is designed to make it waterproof and to keep it soft, if you don't smoke it quite enough, all that work that you did to get it soft is out the window. Alright, so here's our hide sleeve here. We'll pull it apart, the glue line, to see what our two hides look like now. Okay, not super dark there, but it's been smoked for sure. So those have been permanently preserved and they'll never get like rawhide again. I bet you not too many people can say, I have a woodchuck hide that has been tanned and I've made something out of it. So maybe you don't want to say that, but that's okay. All this knowledge, these materials, you know, they're free and they're not that hard to. They're definitely not hard to get. You know, they're free to get. They're all over the place, and the materials you need to turn them into leather, that stuff's free too. It just takes time and effort, and once you finish it, I mean, it'll last you for the rest of your life. I mean, all these wallets and things, I mean, this deerskin bark tanned deer hide wallet will probably last, I don't know, 30, 40 years of regular use. And it was free. Might cost you $100 to buy that handmade wallet from somebody that, well, for one thing, it's not going to be handmade. It'll probably be made in a factory somewhere else. Give it a try. You know, feel free to get in touch with me if you try it and you have questions. There's a couple great resources out there if you want to learn more especially about the suede, you know, egg and smoke brain tanning, they call it, the brain tanning method. There's a lot of information out there on that. Guy's name is Matt Richards. There's a book called From Deerskins to Buckskin, and it's a really detailed process on how to do this from beginning to end. If you saw something you wanted to know more about in the process I showed today, feel free to get in touch. The Bradford County Conservation District has a Facebook page. You can message us there. My contact information is on that page as well. Phone numbers, emails. You know, happy to hear from you. Hope you enjoy this, and keep using your resources wisely.